Okay.
Today is July 22nd, 2014, and we're at the home of Miss Kemper-Suarez. And we're speaking with you about your growing up there in Gilmer County, your time at the Glenville Normal School. You went on and was in the military. Could you tell me your name as it would appear on your birth certificate when you was born?
What?
How was your name? How did your name appear on your birth certificate?
Loreta Kemper.
Okay.
Loreta
All right.
Gay.
And
I've just been, since all this, they changed the Kemper. I've been Gay to Kemper.
mm-hmm.
I had to use it in, I had a little government job for a while. When you work for the government, women have to use their maiden name for in there. They have to keep us in their name.
Okay. Where were you born and raised, ma'am?
In Gilmer County.
Okay.
About 15 miles out of Glenville.
In the New Bern area.
New Bern area. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think we had a Cox's Mills address.
I know you can't remember, but did your parents tell you, was you born there at the house?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
We were all born at the house.
The whole family. So you had some brothers and sisters.
I had two brothers and one sister.
Okay. What was their names?
Eva was the oldest. She married a Gulf. Then Claude. Then myself. Then George came along 7 years later.
Okay.
So that was it.
All right. So you're the sister of Claude Kemper. That we actually have a lot of the bird carvings and things from Glenville. Okay. Is there anything? Can you tell me about growing up a little bit there on the farm? What's some of your earliest memories?
My earliest memories. Maybe running around the house barefoot in the snow.
Uh-huh.
That was one of the things. I couldn't wait till the first snow, and I would take my shoes off and run around the house. That was
just a few times.
Just a fun thing to do.
Uh-huh.
It was. I'm trying to think. It would take me a while to sort out. There's so many memories.
Yes. Did you see a lot of different people? Or was it pretty much just your family there?
It was just this. We only saw people on weekends, and when I went to school. So weekends, you went to church, and that was the time also of visiting, mingling with people, and your church and your school provided entertainment and holidays. Most everything when I grew up was centered around the school and the church.
Okay. Where did you first go to school at?
For Ronald, there's a little one-room school on our farm, and so that's where I went the first 3 years. School.
Who taught?
I don't remember. I only remember my uncle. Uncle Roy taught there the last year I was in school. And as I said, he I think probably opened up my life to other places and worlds that more than anyone else.
Okay.
Because he brought in material to read, even the National Geographic, which is my favorite. It had so many different things.
It had been fairly new at that time, I believe.
And
maybe not.
Most people had never seen the National Geographic. I hadn't until. So that I think changed my outlook on life more than anything else.
Was there any neighborhood kids or any neighbors that came to the school too, or was it mostly family?
No, all of New Bern and the area around, within walking distance. I think the schools were placed about 2 miles apart, so no one would have to walk more than 2 miles. But we all walked to school. No one brought us.
How were some of the lessons done? Different. Was there more than one grade level? Of course.
Oh yes, they had all 8 grades. Of course, later I taught in the one room. you had 8 grades, and you managed. It was more like a progressive teaching. You progressed along as you were capable of. If you were better at math, then you kind of worked with the group ahead of you, or as fast as you wanted to. Or if you were good in spelling, maybe you could spell in the grade above you, or 2 or 3 grades above you. It was nothing unusual to be in the 2nd or 3rd grade, yet history or English or something, be in the 8th grade. But if you might really be in this 3rd or 4th grade. So I hate this voice. I have to. I don't know how you can understand it.
Did the older kids sometimes help the?
Oh yes, if they had free time, they loved to. Most of them loved to help the little ones. And so it wasn't as hard as you thought.
Well, let's go back and talk a little bit about your mom and dad.
What
your mother and father? Let's talk about them. What did they do the most of?
Well, they were farmers, and that basically tells it all. When you're a farmer, it's a full-time job. Now, Dad raised all kinds of fruits, and this was before the roads were paved out that way. Thank you. And he sold in excess of what the family needed to themselves. My mother did a lot of canning. So anything that was left over, if there's somebody who wanted to buy it, he'd sell it. He had bees. He raised bees. He was the only one that had bees for miles around. So they'd come to Dad's as far away as Clarksburg and Perkinsburg to buy honey. And he had, I think we had 20-some hives. So, and that basically was his wintertime job, getting the beehives ready, putting the new comb in for the bees to build on. And my mother, for once, she would have a little free time, and she always had a hobby of some kind. It might have been one year, it was, maybe making quilts. One year she wove baskets. We had baskets all over the house. Every winter she usually had a project going. One time it was paper flowers. She set off and got all this equipment. We had paper bouquets every place. So she found something to do.
So the mail service was operating. You did get mail at that time?
We got mail, not at the house, but about, what is it down to your house? Where you get it now?
2/10 of a mile, maybe.
Okay.
So
or 1/10.
So
probably.
we got mail delivery every day, and they'd even bring packages, because you did a lot of ordering of material, and she got it that way.
And you mentioned earlier your father also hunted.
What?
Your father hunted?
Hunting? Oh yes, in the wintertime, that was a nighttime job,
Yeah.
But he did that for 2 reasons: pleasure and profit.
So he was selling furs, tanning furs and selling them?
He would tan them and sell them.
Okay.
Different animals, fur brought different prices, and he kept up to date on that.
So, moving further a little bit, as you grew older, what was your plans before you, as you were growing up and finishing up with schooling and whatnot, and deciding to go to Glenville?
I don't think I had a plan, because when I was growing up, until there was no high school, most of the young people didn't go to high school because there was no high school. Dirt roads, no buses. So they went through the 8 grades, and that was the end of their education usually. Now, once in a while there'd be one that it would have to send their child off to go to high school. In fact, we had to stay away from home in the wintertime. Now, my brother, Claude and George, rode a horse when the roads got bad and couldn't drive.
Mm-hmm.
They rode a horse to high school. And then when I started, we got, we called them light housekeeping rooms. But anyway, just a little mini apartment, and stayed away from home for the season when the roads were too muddy to drive a car.
At the normal school at Glenville?
What?
Yeah,
No, we went to Tanner.
Oh, I see.
Tanner is about 5 miles away. But we stayed away through the week, went home every weekend.
Uh-huh.
And Dad or somebody would ride horses.
Were there
We'd
any...
walk home on the weekend, and then to go back, we'd ride horses and take all kinds of canned fruit with us, so we wouldn't have to buy so much.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the way we did it. I know in the wintertime sometimes, if snow was on the road, Dad would even get the sled out, big old wooden sled, and we'd put baled hay and blankets, pillows, and ride back to Tanner in the sled, which was fun.
Were there any motorized vehicles going around?
Not in the wintertime.
No.
No, because the roads are really mud in the wintertime.
But during good weather there was some?
The stretch of road from New Bern, or up well, you know where it is, but
Mm-hmm.
to Tanner was mud, or almost to Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
It was dirt roads, so when it was dry in the summertime, you drove your cars.
Do you remember much of anyone about the riverboat travel? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. See, we were too far away from that. Without any transportation in the wintertime, well, anytime, we didn't go to Glenville that much.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little before, I think, before my time. I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing a river. See, I can't get the word out. I don't remember ever seeing a riverboat on the river.
Uh-huh. You probably would have been the tail end. Roads were probably improving as you went to Glenville Normal School.
Well, it was paved to Tanner, and it was paved to from Glenville to Tanner, and then the main road, the Parkersburg and Staunton Pike, I think it's called 47.
47.
Mm-hmm. That was paved, what I remember. But I can remember when part of it was being paved, because Dad used to take us up in the evening or in the afternoon sometimes and show us where they were blasting through for the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember bits about it, that's all.
Okay.
But as far as I really remember, that main road was always paved, and it was always paved down to Tanner.
Okay.
But we didn't travel in those days unless it was absolutely necessary. Not in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm. Well, what made you decide to continue your education and go to the normal school?
I don't know where it started. Of course, I know we had Uncle Roy was a teacher. He had gone on to school. Aunt Lena had also gone to Glenville, by the way. She took voice up there. She had a beautiful voice. And my dad went to one of those schools, was it Buckhannon or where was it? And took music for a semester or two. Because I remember he kept the furnace going. That was his how he paid for his way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had a cot or something in the furnace room.
Okay.
And so it was in the family.
Yeah, education was actually...
Yeah, there's several. My dad's probably uncles. There were brother doctors and lawyers. So it was in the family back, but just kind of. But I think I don't know. I think it just was because grandfather had a brother that was a doctor, didn't he? Do you know?
I don't.
Yeah, he had His brother was a doctor. He was a county health doctor in Clarksburg area. Now he did bring back.
Yeah, I remember that now.
He was, and I do know they talked about some ministers. We had ministers in the family, so they all had to have had a higher education. So it was planted before us.
Okay. You'd mentioned before too that when you started school, even though you only lived about 15 miles from Glenville, you still stayed at the school.
Oh no, now what are you talking about?
At the normal school, when you started going to the normal school?
When I was going to school at Glenville?
Yes.
Oh, we stayed up there all the time. We had little we called light housekeeping rooms, and it was a room with a hot plate on one side and a bed in the other, and that was about it. And
do you know why the name?
What?
Do you know why they called it that?
It was very light housekeeping. I know that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We didn't do much of any kind of housekeeping.
Hand me the glass.
Let me take.
Take a drink and I'll set it there.
Okay. So what were some of your studies up there at the normal school?
Basically, we had to take the schools that you could get a elementary education. That was basically so you had to take all those education classes. So it's just a general. It wasn't. I guess you'd say.
Working towards a certificate?
For a teaching certificate. And you could get one standard norm. In fact, you could. Now Claude taught on one that was less than that, I think but they had this. You had so many degrees, but I taught on a standard normal.
Okay. What were some of the activities that you did outside of coursework while at school?
Activities we did? Oh, we did the standard boy-girl stuff, and then we, I loved football. I loved to go to the football games. Any kind of sports games I always enjoyed. And we had dances at least once a month, I think. And I know we had lots of formal dances, which we loved. I made all my own clothes in those days, and I loved making formals. Can you imagine? But we had formals. And
Did you get together with your friends to make dresses?
Oh yeah. Oh, I always went to the dances. I loved to dance. I was. That was one of the things that I guess opened. I never danced because originally we were Baptists. The Baptists thought dancing was a sin. But I had that in me. I wanted to move with the music. So I never joined the Baptist church, and so dance. But I never see. Dad was a musician, really. He was a farmer, but he was also a musician. He could play anything, couldn't he?
Yes, he could.
He could play most anything. So anyway, that was about it.
Was you playing? Was the football games? Was it Robaugh Stadium? Would it have been over there at Camden Flats?
I can't say where it was. It was in a mud hole if it rained. Oh, not where it is now. It was downtown. Mud, my heavens! Couldn't tell what they were, where they were. And we played we had tennis courts, played tennis, and did a lot of just out walking. I can't think of much else.
Did you do much? Did the library serve you much purpose there?
What?
The library? Did you spend much time there?
I didn't hear
at
that.
the library.
Well, only what was necessary. I think. I don't think I was.
About like students today, probably.
Yeah, about like they do today, right? Did what was necessary, but no, I didn't just. Wasn't one of those that craved the knowledge and had to go, research everything. I guess when I was there, probably was the social life was probably as much as was as important to me as the educational
Uh-huh.
side of it.
So after you finished getting your certificate, what did you do?
First year, I taught school. I think I was 20. Yeah, I know it was because I wasn't yet. The little school where my father grew up, the home school, it's not there anymore. But you know where Joe lives. It's right up there. My grandfather lived right across the street from it, or the road from it, and Uncle Willis lived in the house right beside the school. So it was at the. Wait a minute, go back and ask because see, my mind has flipped.
Well, I was wondering what you'd done after your first job.
I went to school. This the one-room school. It had been a two-room school at one time, but they didn't have enough. They thought for a two-room school, so they combined it. My youngest brother, Joe's dad, was in the 8th grade. Why I want to say 9th. He was in the 8th grade when I taught there. I had all grades from 1st to 8th.
Okay.
And I have that picture here someplace. I'll show it to him. So the first year I taught there. At that time, there was a political something going on. Only one could teach in a family. Of course, I was too young and too dumb to know to get out and go someplace else and teach. I guess I was afraid to leave home, maybe, I don't know. So I didn't teach the second year after it.
How did you get paid?
We got paid by check through the Board of Education.
Okay, at the state level.
I think I made all of $120 a month first year.
Was it coming from the state or was it coming from the county?
State.
The state.
The state. It was the state system. Then next year I taught. I taught at Tanner, by the way, and that's when we got a car. I drove, but I think still the road was mud from our place to Tanner almost. So I had to stay away. I wanted to stay home because you saved money. With $120 didn't go very far if you had to pay board and room.
Yeah.
So, but I did stay away from home in the winter time. And so I was there for a while.
Okay, so you were teaching. You took a few teaching jobs through those years, and
I taught until the war broke out.
Okay, what do you remember about that? Do you remember anything leading up to the war?
Well, you know, there was a lot of talk, of course, in school where you worked because it was brewing, and everybody was interested. We had radios. We did have those, and everybody was excited about it. And all the men or young men were being drafted, and I had been. Switched to a school. I taught all the years in between. Up a hall, one-room school, just about that time. And no way was I going to stay up there. So I would walk from, about 2.5 miles, get in my car. This is during the winter. Get in my car, drive 5 miles, park it again, walk up over the hill and down the hollow the other side. Every day, morning and evening, for all the muddy months. And this is when the war broke out, and I thought, I've got to get out of here. Everybody's going and doing something here. I am stuck up this hollow. I remember that, and I thought, I just can't. I've got to get out of here. And about that time, the recruiters came around to Glenville and maybe read it in the paper or saw it. I don't know what. And I thought, that interests me. not only excitement, I was doing something for the country, and it was going to be an adventure,
Uh-huh.
all things. So I signed up, but I didn't get called up for about a year
After signing up?
after signing up. Well, I chose the Marine Corps, and they weren't taking many in. It was just new, very new.
Mhm.
All the others had women in it, but the Marines were the last, I think. So I went to Parkersburg for one winter, stayed with my sister, and worked at the factory. And then
What was you making? What was you doing at the factory?
working in a factory making viscose, brown or something like that. It was a mill,
Uh-huh.
but then that was just the end till I got called up.
Mm-hmm.
So
What
that-
is there a reason why you picked the Marines?
what?
Is there a reason why you picked the Marines, or was it just the recruiter that came through town?
No, I love the Marine Corps song. Now this is how serious I was then. I loved the Marine Corps song. I thought, oh, that was good. I liked their uniform.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love their hat. I love that uniform. And to me, I thought it was had a little more prestige to it.
Okay.
The Marines did. The Army, sorry, who was in the Army? The Army, everybody was in the Army.
Uh-huh.
And the girls had been going into the Army for quite I thought this had a little bit more dignity to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were a little more exclusive. We had to meet different categories, criteria than the others. So I felt like, I know that I did this, and that's terrible, but I felt like we were a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, fellow.
I think that's typical of the Marines.
So you see, I wasn't a very serious person, and I wasn't. I wanted adventure, I guess.
Okay.
That's partially.
Well, how did it go when you got called up?
How did it go? I don't remember much about it. I know we had to go to Charleston and pass some tests, physical tests, I think, or something. But I don't remember too much about that.
Okay. And you pretty much, did you have to go to a basic training exercise?
And we went to Camp Lejeune, but the girls we didn't have to do anything. The only thing we had to get out and try to march.
Uh-huh.
But we had no other training.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of marching because I developed a shin split. I couldn't, the front bone here
Uh-huh.
got sore. I couldn't walk. So I got excused from that. So really, we had some basic classes, but we didn't do any physical training.
Okay. Most of it was just educational
Yeah,
type.
right,
Okay.
educational.
And then you said you got sent to Virginia to work?
To Quantico, Virginia.
Okay. And what were you doing there?
I was delivering mail.
Okay.
And all I did, really, I didn't deliver the mail. I drove the little Jeep or half-ton truck, and a young boy, he carried the mail, took it into the houses. It was in the area where all the colonels and the officers were.
Uh-huh.
So we delivered mail to the base. That was it.
Okay.
To me, it was a fun job. After teaching, I felt like I was on vacation.
Uh-huh.
So don't put that in. That sounds too frivolous.
Oh, no.
That's too frivolous. And I still feel ashamed a lot of times when I'm among these veterans who've suffered so much. And I think of myself and, what I did, which really, I felt like I was on a college campus.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's luck of the draw.
We had
been-
a good barracks, hardwood floors, all kinds of recreational activities.
Uh-huh.
We had the big name bands. This is big name time. That came to the base,
Uh-huh.
that played for dances. I could have had a better life.
What was
So
there any-
I feel guilty because to me, it was just like 2 years of vacation.
Were there individuals coming in and out of there from being deployed? and
No,
things?
no. Once we were in there, we were in the same group all the time.
Okay, I see.
And I had a group of seven friends that we did things together. And all those were ex-teachers except one, a little girl from about Maine. And she was the only one that had not gone to college or had not taught school. The rest of us were all ex-teachers, and all of us.
So they may have been choosing. You think they may have been choosing from that base?
I don't know. But anyway, to me, it was a very nice life. I didn't have to worry about clothes. Didn't have to worry about something to do. There was always something to do. We could go to Washington, and and Philadelphia, New York, sightsee. Went to all the Broad Road plays, in New York. Would issue us a place to go get tickets free. Everything was free. All kinds of organizations fed you when you were out like that. So we as a group usually went as a group. Sometimes we'd break up into threes. But we'd go visit all the museums, which I'd never seen before. I'd never been to New York. In fact, I don't think I was.
Had you ever even left the state before you were in the military?
Claude and I. Claude rode a boat across the Ohio River, and we went over into Ohio. My first time to be out of the state. But he hand rode across the Ohio River. Did he ever tell you that?
He did not.
I don't think it was his first time out. But even my sister was at nurse training in Parkersburg. And we'd all go down to visit her. And we were someplace on the edge there, and they had boats for rent. So Claude said he would, if I'd go with him, he'd row across Ohio. He would go over into Ohio. That was my first time out of the state.
Okay.
So that was it.
All right.
But no, we never really traveled. I never traveled. And there was more that I wanted to see and do, and that was just one way to get it done. But basically, everybody else was doing something for the country, and I thought, this is what I'm going to do. But then, of course, looking back on it, I'd have been doing more for the country if I'd stayed teaching school.
Oh, I don't know about that. Maybe.
So, but I was, like I said, I was younger.
Did you know how long you were going to be in the military?
Huh?
Did you know how long you were going to be in the military?
No, the plan was, if I had a plan, stay in as long as the war was on.
Okay.
Because I know as soon as the war was over, and of course we got the news on the base, and I remember getting in the little Jeep. And this is also where the FBI school is, at Quantico. I went from one end of that base to the other. Everybody was out announcing it, but I went with my little Jeep, tooting the horn, yelling, "The war is over!" Like you read in some of those stories, the war is over. And I remember doing that so plain. And it was exciting. It was exciting. It was. Once the war was over, though, I was ready to get out. The reason for being in there was no.
Do you think a lot of the jobs you guys were filling were there men that were going to come back to those jobs?
I didn't hear.
Were there men that were probably going to come back to the jobs that you ladies were filling?
I don't know.
You don't know?
About it. Well, somebody would have to do it, but now I was the only one of that group of 7 that was in the motor transport group, though. And I don't know how maybe they were doing other jobs, but we all just kind of did things together all the time. And it was nice because It's like having a family there almost.
How was the hours? Did you have specific
Oh.
work hours?
They were early. I know I had to go to the post office to pick up the mail, and the flag is right in front of the post office, and that's where the Marine Corps band came out and played for the raising of the flag every morning. And I would sit there in my little Jeep and listen to that band and think, oh, this is wonderful. I loved the Marine band. It was good. It is a good band.
Mhm.
And I said, to have a job, but I'm out here and I can enjoy this music. I thought that was great. And but to see again, there comes the guilt in, because I was enjoying things,
Mhm.
and it was.
Well, what happened after the war then? You said you were real excited. You were part of the people celebrating and saying war's over.
But you know, once I went back to a regular job, there was years I never mentioned it, or never even talked about being in the service.
Mhm.
It just was. In fact, I think the girls were surprised when they began to hear me say something about. One thing is, my Joe, didn't like my being in the Marines. He was in the Navy,
I see.
and he had a little bit of a jealousy, something there that.
Where did you meet your husband?
At Glenville State College.
Oh, really?
I mean, not Glenville, Morgantown.
Oh, up here.
Well, not. I did meet him briefly, but I didn't know him. He came to Glenville while I was up there. I believe this was after I was out, though. Anyway, he thought he could get to be a walk-in football player, but he didn't make it.
Oh, I see.
I think I met him. He told me I had talked to him, but I didn't remember. But after the war, you know, we had the GI Bill. You could go to school. I started school up here, and he was in school.
Okay. What did you study here at WWII?
I know when I first started in, at that time, believe it or not, West Virginia, can't get more worried out. West Virginia did not have advanced courses in elementary education. It was only about 2 years later that they started elementary education field. They didn't have that level of. So I took home ec.
Okay.
When I came back.
Did you finish?
No.
No. Okay.
I got married, got pregnant, that order.
Uh-huh. Did you ever go back to teaching, or did you?
I went back. I did substitute teaching. That's all. There was quite an epidemic of flu up here. What year that was? And they were desperately needing teachers, substitute teachers to fill in. So for about 2-3 years, I did a lot of substitute teaching.
Okay.
But that's no fun. You're teaching classes of kids that you don't know their names, and you know it's hard to say you or you. But you need to,
Yeah.
especially elementary children, you need to call them a name.
So you and your husband made a life here, right in Morgantown.
Right.
Okay. And built this house?
No.
No.
Well, we moved into this house. Yes, I've been here 67 years.
Okay.
Long time.
I see. Have you enjoyed your life up here in Morgantown?
Oh yes.
It's a little bit closer to some things than probably you.
I haven't done really. Later in life, I began to reach out and do more things than I did with early life, because was not able to do it. But
Raised your 3 girls here?
right.
Okay.
And 2 of them now live in Frederick, Maryland, and 1 lives in Columbus, Georgia.
Did any of those go? Did any of them go on to go to school?
2 of them did. 2 of them got the degree from here.
Okay.
And 1 of them went to school at Glenville. I think maybe 2. She lived in Spencer, and she took classes at. She loved Glenville's art school.
Mm-hmm.
She said.
But the majority took classes here at WVU. I mean, you're so close.
They both graduated from here. Sharon did some of hers. She got married before she got a degree, so she did hers, bits and pieces, but she got it. But she made it. Anyway, that's it.
Okay. Well, is there anything you'd like to add about your experiences, your time growing up, your time at Glenville Normal School, or?
No, not really.
Do you think the school? Do you feel that the normal school enabled people from your time period, especially in your area, to maybe expand their horizons?
Yes. If Glenville hadn't been there, Tanner High School was just built about 4 years before I started high school.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have higher education beyond the 8th grade within a distance that most people could attend. So they built these little high schools, I think about 10 miles apart, or more longer than. Between Tanner and Troy, probably that was about 15 miles. But every so often they built these little high schools, and then that opened up all these little country girls and boys could go to high school.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them could even stay home and go to high school, but some of them like us had to stay away in the winter. But they didn't go.
And most of the teachers were probably normal school graduates.
And when I was there, almost all seemed like people to high school just automatically went on to Glenville.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they could go to high school, they could go to Glenville. So it opened up a whole world for all the rural area out in that going to Glenville.
Okay.
And if we hadn't had that little Tanner down, Tanner's High School, or Troy, which you all went to, they wouldn't have gone on. Because you really didn't have contact with much of the outer world then. You didn't have TV then. You had radio.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this interview.